Nashville, known worldwide as a serious music city. We say, would it kill you to laugh a little?
Coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee, it's live from Little Hollywood.
Featuring Caitlin Cannon, Alice Wallace, Gina Frary Bacon, Stuffy Schmidt.
This week's guest, author Marissa Moss.
A live performance from Alice Wallace.
And now your hosts, Scot Sax and Gina Frary Bacon.
You're watching live
from
Little
Hollywood.
Sam Pardon, thank you so much for those expensive jazz chords. Give me one last lingering
Our
one.
house band.
I love that.
Resolved.
Did I ever tell you my biggest
The
fear?
one-man house band.
My biggest fear is to die while playing a seventh chord. Watch.
Unresolved?
Yeah, play a seventh chord.
Oh,
That's like
yeah.
a jazz like normal people. Is that a seventh chord? That sounds. You can't not play expensive chords. Like play a C
so
chord.
Nice though. All
Now
those
play the thing that makes it a seventh. That.
Oh yeah.
To spend eternity.
You're still wondering what's gonna happen.
My second biggest fear is to be on my deathbed and about to die and be saying this. Wait, what was I gonna say? And then die.
Oh.
All right, what are we looking at here? No, what does it say? Garage?
Garage, yes, and it's a typo thing. I don't know if it's a literacy issue or people just write and they don't read what they write and post it anyway. But garage.
Maybe they're very artsy. Garage.
Garage. That's their safe and happy place.
Speaking of we did a thing with Dina. It was a meditation thing. Oh yeah, it was
Can I talk to the manager?
She's like, it was for Karens or Darrens.
Right.
I have some complaints. I was just at the dressing room, and the limit is 8 items, and I had 6. And for some reason, the girl would not let me in. And made me leave 2 of my items in the cart outside of the dressing room, so I had to get dressed and then come back to my cart, which is actually really annoying because I really just wanted to do it one time and knock it out. Thank you. Namaste.
So it's free stereo system.
Yeah.
We're only looking at the back of things. It looks pretty crusty, and
That picture.
yeah, it's
Like,
not a good picture.
The picture is very similar to the mistake in spelling.
Yeah,
There's no T's crossed or I's dotted.
maybe a lot of neglect going on in general. And it says take anything you want, garage. So, but based on that photo, I don't know if there's anything. But you know what? Maybe there's like a
garage.
classic car on the other side.
Yeah.
You just never know. We're just looking at one little corner of that garage, and it might be full of treasure.
His last words were, wait, what was I going to say?
And knowing you, that's likely.
It's going to happen because
Yeah,
I'm all,
like-
yeah. Well,
You're never really done.
who are we having on our show today?
Oh, today is very exciting. We have Marissa Moss with us today, the author of Her Country. I love the subtitle, How the Women of Country Music Became the Success They Were Never Supposed to Be.
See, that should be the title. That would be the true title, and then Her Country underneath. But you can't.
It's a little late for that.
Can't ask if somebody, have you read the book, How the Women of
I
Country
think her
Music?
editor might disagree.
Yeah.
But
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Marissa Moss.
yeah, can we?
Yeah, we can talk.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for
You're
having
one of
me.
my heroes in the music biz because you are an advocate for women, and especially in the country music world, where there's actually there are rules built into the system where you can only play one woman's song per how many men?
Well, thank you, first off, and thanks for having me. Yeah, the rule is roughly one woman per hour.
That
if
seems
it's
fair,
a good day.
At least they're doing math.
Yeah, it's really more like one woman per 2 to 3 hours from my listening habits. But certainly no two women back to back. So there's actual coding in the radio software that programs against that.
That's just despicable.
Yeah.
Really despicable. But you wrote this book, but I should also say you've written for Rolling Stone and Pitchfork and The Guardian. You wrote something for Barack Obama. That's in your bio. What was that?
Yeah. What does he sing?
Where Have All the Cowgirls Gone? That was going to be the title of that book, actually. That was why that popped into my head, because you were talking about long titles. It was originally going to be called Where Have All the Cowgirls
You
Gone?
could have done it like a Fiona Apple album title with the ...
That's true. I would have liked
Yeah.
that. When the pawn hits
Where
the
have all the
cowgirls, where have they gone?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was deemed too long. So anyway, yeah.
Is the publisher a woman?
Yes. Yeah. My publisher is
Pretty
a
cool.
woman.
And-
yeah. And my editor.
And you were saying the Barack
team.
Obama. What did you write about Barack?
Oh, yeah. In my other lifetime, I worked in political communication. So I wrote a little short speech that he read in a part of a documentary thing. Yeah.
That must be kind of surreal.
It was like a paragraph.
How do you continue to love
Tongue-in-cheek.
men in light of what you know? Because I
Wait, I would preface that by, is it still possible to love
well,
men?
she's married to a man.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That is true.
That's true.
I am married to a man.
And I'm comfortable asking questions like that because I was not aware of anything that you wrote in this book, and I'm halfway through it.
And you've been in the music business for a long time.
I didn't know that. And if I knew it, I didn't know it from a woman's perspective. It's for a man, it's confusing to know how to look at a woman, react to, it's confusing for a guy because of the sexual aspect. Because we're just like, she's hot. Okay, how do you respect someone who's hot? I think that's at the root, to me, that the root of the issue is like how to not be a gorilla around women. That would be a good title. How to not be a gorilla around women.
That can be
could
my next book.
Yeah, the answer book too. There's two sides of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is an innate sexuality to music. Ann Powers, who is another journalist who lives around here, wrote a great book on that called Good Booty.
Oh, Ann Powers. Yeah, that's a great book.
So you don't want to take, there is a sexual quality to music, but that's different than, not sexually harassing someone or not, discriminating against someone because they're not a cis.
Because people really are dressing in less stuff. Amanda Shires, Margot Price, but it's not like, look at me, I'm sexy. It's look at me, I own my body and my sexuality. And
because it's their decision.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I love the way they style themselves and present themselves. I think especially Amanda and Margot, because they are also mothers and they're in their late 30s, if not 40. And really reclaiming what we're expecting from women in that age group, women who have children.
Yes.
So I find that really powerful and empowering, the way they choose to present themselves in their art.
Good role model stuff. And I don't know if they're thinking consciously about it or just growing up in kind of the post-feminist thing. Maybe it just,
They're smart. They're smart women.
That's true. They're very savvy.
I think they're thinking about it.
And they're doing it in the public eye. Raising kids in the public eye must be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that also that that sometimes people connect, I think that a jerky guy's a jerky guy, but I think that sometimes because they can connect with other guys, they speak that language. It's almost like a language. I'm from guy country. You're from girl. What was it? Exile
in Guyville.
Mm-hmm. It's like two
or
countries.
Men are from Mars. Mm-hmm. Women are from Venus.
And so maybe some of those guys out there, the ones that aren't just absolute, they should be in jail people, but just womanizing guys or whatever, they just never learned the language. They never lived out. They never left their country. Mm-hmm. And I grew up, my best friends were always girls. I always related more to women. I was always more sensitive to things, or always art and music. And my best friend was a girl, and that's been it. But I've spoken. I grew up speaking that language, and absolutely despise mistreatment of women. And I will never, and this is sort of like too much too soon, I guess, right now, but, you know, as far as like sexual assault and all that stuff, I can't connect in a cajillion years how I would be sexually active with a woman that I was doing something that was making her upset. That is a huge line. That is, I wish there was a name for, I wish it was like men, you know, there's men, women, and then fucking assholes. Because because when you're a man and you're not that way, it sucks to have your gender look so bad. Because it's like, you know, it's a little like, you're Jewish and I'm Jewish. It's a little like when people start hating Jews because Israel bombed somebody. It's like, first of all, there's a lot to that story. Second of all, I didn't bomb anybody. So it's a little, that's what it's like to be a guy sometimes. And I was reading this and it's great and shocking. And I was like, fuck, I wish like the dudes could fucking get it together. That's your fucking problem.
Maybe we shouldn't be so attached to, you know, particular genders.
Maybe there's something they could do in
push past the gender binary. And
Yeah.
It wouldn't, you know.
That would help a lot of things.
What do you think could have been different up till now? Well, in country music, I guess it's because it's more Southern, it's more Republican, you know, there's more Republicans involved in it, with all due respect to everybody. Again, it's like, you can't say they're all wrong and they're all right. So it's just the line is a lot more drawn, right? And so that's why country music is that's where most of these problems with less, like, in other words, on rock and roll radio, do they have the same thing where you can't play women too much?
I mean, I've never specifically researched into rock radio, but I do know right now that, I mean, it's probably higher now, but there have been periods where the percentage of women on rock radio or AAA or any of that is probably similar to country radio. It just now, that doesn't matter as much as it does. Radio doesn't matter as much in terms of the overall arc of someone's career as it does in country music. Radio is amazing, don't get me wrong. But
is radio still a bigger thing in country music than it is in any other genre?
Yes. And when I say radio, I'm not talking about independent radio.
Right.
I'm talking about
not MOT or
commercial.
XNA.
Right. I'm talking about, you know, consolidated commercial radio. And that's the greatest predictor of success and market share in country music still. So that's why it matters.
Why is the radio bigger in country, you think? More people are in the car smoking with the windows up listening to radio?
I mean, it's part of it. It's always been...
Did I say that out loud? Because I was...
You did.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be...
In that voice,
That's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I ain't lying.
It's always been part of the infrastructure. Radio is, you know, part of country music. But
right, because the old-timey, right, like Gene Autry.
Oh, yeah. People gather around the radio. It's a family thing.
And for one, I mean, we assume that everyone has access to, you know, reliable broadband and wireless and Spotify and all of that. It's not actually true. So in rural areas, you're reliant on radio. You can make a joke about it, but if you are in your car and you're working class and you're driving 40 minutes from your house in the country to where you need to work, you're in your car.
Yeah. And that's what's if you drive from Nashville to Asheville, North Carolina and channel surf, most of the channels are country music still. That's that's what's coming over there.
Right, and those guys like working on houses and stuff with the boombox, you know, with the paint splattered all over it. Yeah, they're not like tuning in on satellite radio.
Yeah, it's, you know, not getting a Bluetooth.
How about on satellite radio? Is that any, like, are there more male music state? You know what I mean? Does it play out the same way in that world, do you think?
I mean, in country music, there's this real feedback loop. So satellite radio is better overall, but there is a lot of like reflecting, you know, people can't get out of the feedback loop of what's popular on radio and what's popular even in streaming. Everyone was talking this year about country music having this big moment because Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen and Jason Aldean are like, you know, having crazy streaming numbers, but they wouldn't exist and have careers if it weren't for country radio first.
Yes.
So it's not like people are fishing these great independent artists out and exploding them into big careers. Of course, Zach Bryan is a different story, but when it comes to women.
Who's Zach Bryan? Is he the guy try it in a small car guy?
No.
I mean, in a small town?
No,
I
that's
was gonna do a
Jason
parody
Aldean.
called,
That's
Try
Jason
It in a
Aldean.
Small Car.
Oh.
I was gonna have like a band, like too many people, and just see if they can, just
Yeah, think of all the things. Try that.
just make it a smaller statement. If he just would have done that.
One of the things in your book that you talk about is that how pivotal the year 1999 was, because there's a lot of stuff that happened musically, like the Dixie Chicks. Well, now the Chicks, right? Is that the year they came out?
Yeah, I mean, the real big sort of explosion year, not just for country music, but for music in general, is 96, when the Telecommunications Act passed. And not to be super wonky, I like to be wonky about it, but it's boring for most people, basically enabled all of this really rampant consolidation for not just radio, but labels.
like Jack
and all
FM
that.
and all that kind of stuff.
It just, it allowed all of,
Yeah, where's Jill FM?
It's like the more, the song. I wrote a song that Faith Hill and Tim McGraw did. I co-wrote a song, and that's the year that came out. Mm-hmm. Was that bad timing, or what do you mean the consolidation? Oh, like the
monopolies of
So you can, I'm trying to make this in the least wonky way to explain it possible, but you could consolidate radio stations under a big corporate umbrella. So
like iHeartRadio.
Like iHeartRadio, which was at the time Cumulus, and then they changed their name to iHeart because it was friendlier or something.
But they were like not really friendly, right? They flipped it.
Yeah, no, they sucked. Yeah.
That's like Hill. I
mean, with all due respect to Hiller Plumbing, you know Hiller Plumbing?
Yes.
You ever see
Happy
the
you'll
vans
be-
for Hiller
Yes, and I
Plumbing?
always think it says Hitler in it.
No, that's exactly
It's an
right.
unfortunate name.
No. I have said this. I've pointed it out. No one agrees, but I know that I'm right.
It says Hitler.
I know. It's unfortunate name. That is why they have the huge smiley face on there.
To try to counteract it or make it seem
100%.
harmless.
100%.
I don't think there's a Hiller in the North. I wonder if that's something you could get
They're
away
like,
with.
what can we do? And they probably just said, like, just put a huge smiley face. So when they say Hiller, maybe that's what Hitler should have done.
Maybe Hitler should have fucking smiled. And
that
not,
would have changed
I've
everything.
just offended our crew.
Fucking Hitler. Fuck. I don't understand why, like with Trump and Hitler, why doesn't somebody just fucking kick their teeth out? When Trump would be on those like press conference things and the people in the audience and everything, and he's being a total asshole, making fun of like people with retarded people and whatever how you're supposed to say that, and this people. I can't believe one of the journalists just didn't get up and go, fuck you, and fucking punch him in the face.
Remember
even
the guy
though his
that threw
career
the
would be
shoe?
over.
Maybe somebody could throw a shoe. Remember that guy?
Did someone throw a shoe at him?
Not Trump, no.
But do you know what I mean? It's weird. There's no one in school if somebody was a jerk to a bunch. Although actually the jerky people were the Trumpy kind of people. Okay.
What were you asking her?
Oh, so how do you keep loving men in a
He really needs to
I thought
know.
we left this one.
He really needs
And also, it's interesting that you moved to it's like you moved to the moon, but you've got some fucking words to say to the astronauts. Like you're living in the center. Although East Nashville's a lot less like that.
Nashville's like a blue dot in a red sea.
Yeah.
Answer the man question first. How do you
That question.
how do you
I thought
continue?
we were going to leave that one.
Oh, I
So-
can. We can.
No,
leave
no,
it.
it's okay. How, wow. I don't know how to answer that question,
Not
actually.
either. I guess if you get one good man and you have a boy and a girl, 2 boys.
I have a boy and a girl.
Right.
Yeah, and
So you're raising a good boy to grow up to be a good man, and you married a good man, and we're friends, so that's how you do it.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to say, though, is a lot of guys would be surprised. The back talk that happens among women about guys that are jerks is kind of one of the things that comes up is like, if you only knew how your friends behaved when,
Well, there's a whole whisper network
Yeah.
that men don't know about, or they do and they choose to ignore it and they don't care.
because, a lot of the nice guys aren't so nice in private. So that's part of it.
I work really
Sorry,
hard
Scott.
to try and raise a son that's not a
Yeah.
misogynist asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for a
me
while
too. I
thought
think
that
I
was
did
a
okay.
Person
but-
that gives massages. The misogynist.
Misogynist.
I'm just saying they should change the name because Okay, I have a couple questions. Oh, okay. Okay. I know you're a Bob Dylan freak, and so am I. And I wish you were a more talkative person so we could talk about it. So I'm just going to have you on the show again. It's so frustrating because I'm like, talk to me. I want to talk about Bob Dylan. I have stories.
You have to leave space for that.
You have to understand that after so many years, this relates into what we were saying, or what we're talking about in the book, I guess, is as a woman who is a fan of Bob Dylan, at some point you learn to completely shut down when a man, this is nothing personal, but so many years talking to, I could write a book truly called Talking to Men about Bob Dylan by me.
Because they talk down to you.
Yes, and I think it's just...
Wait. Why do you say that? What do you mean they talk down?
And it's nothing by the time I got to you...
How tall are you?
5'5"?
Yeah,
Well, that's why they talk down to her, though she's smaller than them.
No, men can be really condescending.
What do they?
Yes.
Oh, like
and my
as if
point
you
is,
don't know about Bob Dylan.
Yes, by the time I had gotten to you, I had been so beaten and burned by every conversation I've ever had with a man about Bob Dylan that my reflexes is now to shut down.
Gotcha.
I understand. I do that. I think we all do it. I do it with certain things, radio things or
How about
technical
Matt Dylan?
things.
You know what? Switch.
Jacob Dylan?
From now on, not even Jacob.
Okay.
Let's talk. We'll talk about Matt Dylan when we see each other.
Or Dylan.
I bet you don't know.
My
Jax.
daughter, who is named after Bob Dylan. And yet I
Stone.
still
That's
do
right.
not know enough about Bob Dylan.
How dare you name your daughter after somebody you don't know anything about?
All right. Okay, and then I have like one more question, and then we're ready for our next guest. But we do. Will you, as they say on these shows, will you promise to come back?
Yes.
Okay. Because I haven't offended anybody, have I?
Oh,
I've offended it. Did you ever hear that joke? What did the waiter say to the table of Jewish women? Is anything all right? Oh, that's the Dylan thing. I'll tell you a couple of things.
It's
about
okay.
Dylan.
We can talk about
No, it's
Dylan.
fine. No, just Matt Dylan.
I was explaining that it's more of like a reflex. It's nothing personal. Like
That's
you
like when
truly
somebody,
learn.
like I said to Alice, I really can't wait for you to play your new song. We'll just do that. And then I had another person that wanted to like come on that's a singer-songwriter. I'm just like the singer-songwriter story. I'm just burned out on. Unless like something really like earth-shattering happened that makes it particularly interesting, I'm all in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not interesting enough. We all started singing at the age of 8. We thought,
There's so much more to it. I do a lot of interviews, and I asked somebody yesterday how her mother got her name, and there was a whole story behind it.
So you
the
gotta know what to
stepfather
ask.
changed their names, and it's not just the usual stuff.
Good.
You have to dig a little deeper.
All right. Invasive surgery is what you're saying. Well, all right, then I'm. Well, Alice, get ready. I'm asking some.
Well, her mother's here, so you know.
No, I'm going in.
you have
I
the
want
same
her
name you
mother
were
next
born
to her
with.
while we're interviewing her. I'm going to grill both of you. Well, these are huge questions. Let's do it.
I know. I have huge questions too, Alice and Russell.
Damn it, Alice! You'll do the 2-minute waltz. It's a famous song. I was just going to become. When did you become aware of? When did you go from like a little girl in New York, a little boy? You can call me a little boy when I was a little girl in New York in the elevator. You're not talking to anybody. I got the lowdown on you, and loving Bob Dylan. When did you become aware of how women artists were treated and how different it was?
It took a long time, actually. Actually, I'm writing a book sort of about that right now. That my next book is, I did not mean to be plugging my next book because there's nothing anyone can
Plug
even
it.
pre-order yet. There's nothing to plug.
Something to look forward to.
But it is kind of about the artists that taught me those lessons. Because I grew up with a single mother, and she conditioned me to kind of dislike women. That was her approach to handling the patriarchy, which was to kind of try to be that one woman in the room.
They got along with all the guys.
Yeah. And
that's an interesting dynamic.
So that's how I grew up. And it wasn't until artists like Fiona Apple and Liz Phair and Tracy Chapman and Courtney Love, where I sort of started to figure those things out. But it took a little while.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't a riot girl. It would be a lot cooler to be like, you know,
Yeah.
at 11, I like ran away and did all these cool things, but that wasn't really my reality.
Yeah. That's tough to run away in New York.
Yeah.
Like living in New York is like you ran away.
Yeah, that's true.
People run away to New York.
All right, ask her one more question, and then.
Oh wow, it's just so many things.
I had my question was the last question. I had one more question that was really easy. This was my question. Why does the world treat women, Jews, and blacks the way they do?
Oh.
Can you imagine if? And then we have to go to commercial in 20 seconds.
Even the crew just gasped.
I know, but it is. I always want to go. Why? Nobody asks why. Like with the Kanye West thing, I want to go. What's the problem?
I think sociologists and people like that do ask why.
I can answer
Okay.
the question about how do I keep liking men.
Okay.
Instead of the question.
Now that you hear that question, you're like, wow, that other one was really easy. We're okay. I'll just have to do an edit. It's okay. We'll get you. It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, now you.
Oh, you were kidding. Okay.
just-
All right. Go ask
That's a
her
nice
your
way to end it.
question.
Well, I was going to ask about the impact somebody like Allison Russell has on the music scene. She's so interesting to me. And she came in and I don't know, I don't know if she surprised everyone, but she sure surprised me. She's a singer and she'll whip out a clarinet. Everything she does is so creative and so deep and so
Unexpected
interesting
talent.
and different.
Like, it's just
yes.
like so everywhere.
And it seems like she's shaping the world around her, and it's really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love her. And I think part of what she seems really intent on doing is building community and doing the opposite of the the one woman in the room.
Margot's done that too.
Yeah, just being really intentional about, I think she calls it the Rainbow Coalition of the Willing or something like that. The Rainbow Coalition of building in people, everyone that's not, a white straight dude.
Yes.
And bringing them on tour with her and recording with them and playing them up. And I think that's just really an important part of what she does. We're lucky to have that kind of Americana, whatever you want to call it, world that's outside of mainstream country music that, is really a big part of life here.
Yeah.
It is a non-competitive. It's more like people bringing each other along, which is really nice to see.
And that's why I'm glad, we are now live from Little Hollywood. It's such an interesting. This to me, I just stopped one day at some point last year, whenever it was, and just went. This is a time and a place right now. I really saw it. It's like I saw it it was as if in an old book, in an old documentary.
They'll be talking about it someday.
I
in this
know.
period of time, I think.
Yeah. What's
in
the?
Nashville.
I always blank on.
Maybe they'll come up with a name for it.
What's the Ladies in the Canyon? What Laurel Canyon?
Laurel
this
Canyon,
is really a Laurel Canyon, but very different. It's that kind of bubble, but. I think it wasn't male female then. It was more like Vietnam War and all that stuff. But yeah.
No, even Mary Gaucher says that about Nashville now. She's been around a long time, but she said the community now of people supporting each other is really different than any.
I'll tell you the phone. The phone scammers, the spam phone calls.
Yeah, telemarketers, right?
I got to give it to them. They stay in touch.
They do stay in touch.
Should be so lucky to have friends that reached out that much to me.
Buddy, you ain't lying.
WASS. We take out the class and put back the ass. Any classical music.
What were you talking about earlier about everything?
Oh yeah, I figured it out.
What?
Everything.
That's how you do it. Don't try to figure out specific things. Just try to figure out everything, and then it's like an umbrella effect.
Exactly.
I would like to listen to Chopin, anything from the early 1800s. I would like to just say this is a little Johann from Yo Man in the house.
Mary Gaucher said this is a really special time in the music community here, and Alice Wallace, who's going to play for us, is part of it too. People supporting each other and pushing each other along instead of competing with each other and getting in each other's way.
That's why I don't like when people like move out of town because they're like, oh, I just can't handle the politics there anymore. It's like, then stay and fucking change it.
Help us.
Don't run away.
Yeah.
What if a man has a sex change? Will he have more difficulty getting on the radio? How does that work? We're going to discuss that next time she's here.
Okay.
Marissa, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Up next, Alice Wallace. You can hear.
Alice, you have a new album coming out.
I do. And today my Kickstarter launches, so I can hire people to help me with it.
That's a big day.
Yeah.
Hiring people's a wonderful thing. Okay.
It is a wonderful thing.
What's it going to be called?
It's going to be called Here I Am.
And here you are.
And here I am. Someday someone's gonna find out my biggest secret. I know they will. It's just a matter of time. You can look right at me and never even see it. 'Cause I've perfected the art of seeming fine even when I'm not. Someday someone's gonna figure out what I've been hiding. I know they will. 'Cause I can't keep a straight face. And still no one will ever say I wasn't trying. I've worked damn hard for this epic fall from grace, just like I was taught. And so what if I do? So what if all of my worst fears come true? Sure, the sky might fall and the truth might turn to doubt, but it's time. Someone found me out. Someday someone's gonna realize I'm an imposter. I know they will. It's just a question of when they'll shake their heads and say, well, this is gonna cost her. They won't understand why I risked it all just to pretend that I was someone else. Someday someone's gonna find out that I've been faking. I know they will. 'Cause I can't keep this up. And I'm the one whose heart I have been breaking. Who'd have thought that I was worthy of love? And so what if I do? So what if all of my worst fears come true? Sure, the sky might fall and the truth might turn to doubt, but it's time. Someone found me out.
Thank you, Alice Wallace.
Thank you, Alice Wallace. Good luck with the album. Help her out on there. Thanks to our sponsors, Drum Supply House and Drum Supply Rehearsal.
Yes, thank you.
And LR Bags.
And LR Bags.
Yeah.
And thanks to Marissa Moss.
Thanks,
for joining us.
everybody. Take us home, Sam. Wait, we are home.
Oh, well, you're home.
Thanks.
It's home base.
That really worked. Awesome. We did it.
Yay.
Live
From
Little
Hollywood.
How many times have I lost the thread? How many times have I dropped the ball?
All right, I gotta go.